Hello, everyone. This is going to be yet another teaching video, but since it is going to reflect on placements on the 24th of February, this allows me to reflect on the war that has been going on for a full year now. This war is not between Ukraine and Russia. This is between Russia and the rest of the Western world. And it's also kind of a war between the West and the rest. And it has many, many connotations and many ugly faces, which I'm not going to elaborate now because it's not my business. But it was really shocking to me to see how the Biden administration doesn't care for what is going on in its own country. And it was really shocking to see and to realize that they don't really care for anything. They just care for sheer financial benefits. Let's put it this way. Think about the fact that there was a train disaster almost 3 weeks ago. No one went down there. These poor people don't get any aid. No one cared. I mean, Biden, of course, didn't go down there. Kamala Harris didn't go down there. The transport minister just announced that he will go down there once it's appropriate. Come on, you should have been there the second day, the first day, and offer some sort of aid. And by the way, dear little Greens, where are you? You should be up in arms. You should be demonstrating. You should be demanding some sort of answers and investigation. And you are silent. So this shows that you don't really care for the environment and you don't really care for the people. The fact that you don't care for the people is very well known. You want to save the planet against the people, against us people. And it's just ridiculous. You're losing. You will be losing because of that, because of your sheer incompetence and dishonesty. Having said that, instead, Joe Biden used President's Day to visit Ukraine, and our poor Polish fellows, who I love dearly, and we have always been brothers, mostly brothers in arms. This is the only occasion when we kind of look at things in a different way. But of course, I can't blame the Polish because their country was destroyed many times by the Russians. But what I don't understand, it was not just the Russians, it was also Russians and German who destroyed Poland. So, and they only hate the Russians. They don't seem to hate the Germans as we speak. But anyhow, I'm not here to understand historical facts and historical undercurrents, let's put it this way. But it's really ridiculous that instead of looking after his own country, Biden goes and tries to save and pours even more money to Ukraine. The reason is because the Biden family is suspected or reported or I don't know what word to use, but this has been open fact and a lot of I read it in the United States media that they have $40 billion invested there. So of course they want their family money secured, and that is why people are dying there. Think about that. Having said that, we are not going to celebrate anything on this day, but we are going to look at the planetary pictures that are prominent on February 24th. Now, why are planetary pictures important? First of all, think about it. Look at the chart. Each and every chart has 12 signs. Each and every chart has 12 houses. 4 angles, all the planets, whatever you are going to use. Of course, the limit is the stars because there are 21,000 named asteroids. You could use all of them, which is kind of stupid in a little bit. So it really is up to you how many celestial objects you are going to cram into the face of a horoscope. All those are for everyone, but the shape of the chart and the degree of the rising sign and any planetary picture that is linked to any of the angles or any of the faster moving planets is really unique. if you look at this particular planetary picture, you will see that the sun and the moon are also included. And the fact that the moon is on the north node suggests that this is going on for only 4 or 5 hours, and then later on the moon will move on and will leave this configuration. So configurations are important for 2 reasons. Number one, because tight configurations indicate the main themes in a chart, and also because whenever you make a forecasting in progressions and transits, they are highlighted, they get illuminated, they get pushed, they get activated at the same time. Those planets who form tight configurations get activated at the same time. So it's not only a pressing energy at the very beginning of a life, but it remains like that through your lifetime. So let's take this apart, and we are going to do this in a little bit differently, because I usually show you the transcendental celestial objects. In this time, we are going to concentrate mainly on the configurations and how to dissect them and how to interpret them. And then we will move on to the transcendental objects at the end only. Okay, so let's take a look. In this complex planetary picture, you can see that it's the nodal axis, the sun, the moon, Ceres, the conjunction that has been going on for quite a while and will be going on until November, the Vesta Astra conjunction, which is one of this year's main karmic astrological features. It's important because this is a preparatory year. The big changes are not yet here. They have commenced, they have started, and they are in full motion already, but they are not finished yet. And the next year will be much harder. This is what I think. It's going to bring a lot of hardship and a lot of things to decide. And if you can prepare ahead of time, then you will be much better off than if you don't do anything. Vesta is a focusing principle. Astrea is the karma breaker, the destiny changer. What it means, up till November, you have the potential to focus on any sort of changes that you need to adjust. You can break old embedded karma. You can change your destiny, the course of destiny that you're going to take. That's the main message of this conjunction. And Venus is coming up to an exact conjunction with it. And of course, if you look at the nodal axis, you will see that it is highlighted by the moon. So those are the main features. Why are nodal axis important? We are going to look at it in a minute. Let's take a look at the karmic cage first. This karmic cage is illuminated or highlighted by the moon. As you can, by the way, of course, if you look at the main configuration before dissecting it, you can see that it is after sunset. It is around 8 o'clock in the evening. Anywhere you are, you will have this. The sun is below the horizon and on the western side of the sky. So it is after sunset, 2 hours, approximately 2-3 hours after sunset. So here's the karmic cage. And I remember this was way back sometime in 2000, maybe 5 or 6. I was at Glastonbury with Judy Hall, and we were talking about, she was explaining something and she was showing us a chart, and I said to her that I call this configuration as a karmic cage, this T-square between the nodal axis and any celestial object that is exactly squaring the nodal axis. And she loved the expression, and I think she actually used it in one of her books. I can't remember which one, but what is this? So why is this so important? First of all, the south node describes how you behave when you are questioned or threatened or cornered. So it describes your instinctual behavior patterns that you're bringing in from past lives. And this is very instinctual. You don't really actually think. You bring it out whenever you need. You bring it out as a weapon or as a survival kit. And the north node at the same time is something that you want to move towards. You want to build up. You want to create in this life. and also a behavior pattern that you want to adopt. When is this happening? Well, we have no clue. Usually it happens in the second half of your life. What I usually say is when it happens when you realize that you simply don't want to be like your South Node anymore. Yeah, it is very useful. Yeah, you can actually act upon it. You can utilize it whenever you need it. But you know, your loved ones don't really like you when you are like that. You yourself may start to be ashamed of your own behavior. You want to grow out of it. And then you very consciously adopt the other end of the axis. And we can't really tell you when this is going to occur. But I can tell you that if you have a T-square, an exact T-square with the nodal axis, it's going to happen much earlier than for the rest of the people. And also when it is highlighted, when the axis itself is highlighted by either the sun or the moon. Those are the two occasions, those are the two placements when I can tell that you won't actually, probably won't wait until the second part of your life. And the reason is because those two exact squares that form the karmic cage give you daily pushes. They give you daily things to resolve, daily clashes, and you realize much earlier that you don't really need this. You don't want to fall into the trap of the south node anymore. The sun has come out brilliantly and beautifully. I just love the sun. Every time the sun shines, I'm much better, in a much better mood, really. Although I love rain as well. Anyhow, this is the next step, because here you can see the sun making an exact trine to the south node, and by it really dissolves the fixed energy of the karmic cage. It is making a sextile to the moon. On the 24th, it's already the crescent moon phase, and the sextile is the best aspect within that phase. So you have both luminaries here highlighting the T-square, giving us extra insight. The sun does it very consciously, and the moon does it subconsciously on a soul level, on a spiritual level. And there's also, oh, I said Mashni. Okay, this is a bow. Sorry, my Hungarian. I do these videos both in Hungarian and in English, and sometimes I don't have any clue what I leave in there. So it's karmic bow. So what is a bow? A bow looks like a mystic rectangle, but of course the mystic rectangle consists of two oppositions, and the frame of the mystic rectangle are two sextiles and two trines. So the tension of the oppositions is dissolved by the harmony and the potential creating aspects of the sextiles and the trines. Here you have karmic aspects trying to dissolve the oppositions. And those karmic aspects, of course, the semisextile is the smaller karmic aspect, and the quincunx is the higher or the more higher impact energy. What do we have here? We have the triple conjunction opposite Ceres. So as Ceres is also an asteroid, and asteroids move about a quarter of a degree per day, because their orbital period takes a little bit over 4 years. So approximately they do 15 to 20 minutes of an arc a day. They could be faster, but they tend to move together. So when you see either configuration or a placement with the asteroids, you can be sure that they will remain within orbs for weeks sometimes. So is this with the Vesta Astrea conjunction, focusing on Karma Breaker King, which will be quite tight throughout the year. They will stay within 5 degrees throughout the year up till November, when they move apart and they start becoming more apart and more apart. I think they actually reach 7 or 10 degrees by the end of the year. But it still gives us the better portion of a year to focus on what we need to change in our lives in order to fulfill our destiny, to come out of this this situation that we are in. And Ceres is the nurturing principle, but it's also your home, your family, your homeland, your roots, your family roots. And it makes a quincunx to the North Node Moon conjunction at this particular moment. So you have the two nurturers, the two mother archetypes, the Moon and Ceres in a quincunx. And the other side, of course, of it, this is the triple conjunction to the South Node. So that's how the bow is working. The sun is really obscuring me, which I love, by the way, but I should have set someplace else. Anyhow, it's not me who is important. It's the drawings that are important. Okay, so let's take a look at the boomerang. Okay, this is a boomerang. As you can see, the boomerang axis is the opposition between Ceres on the one hand, opposite Vesta, Astrea, Venus on the other side. And then you have the Sun, Moon, sextile, and of course, the North Node. And boomerangs are very karmic configurations, planetary pictures. You have usually an anchor point, and that is the triple conjunction, and the tip of the yod is Ceres. So here you have the dilemma, how to change, how to break old embedded karma, how to create harmony, Venus, opposite Ceres, which is of course your family ties and your also your national ties. Let's not be afraid of this. Okay, the woke mob wants us they want to cancel anything that is national. Those are your roots. Think about what is happening to a tree. When you cut a tree from its roots, it dies. And that's exactly what they want to achieve. They want us to hate our roots, to be to be ashamed of our roots, so that we can die. Of course, they are thriving because they think they are winning. Of course, they are not. We won't let it. Anyhow, so here are the transcendental celestial objects linked to this configuration, to this space-time moment. And the sun is still conjunct Panacea. You may remember, if you saw my video for the Pisces new moon, which was on Panacea, and the sun moon conjunction was at 1.5 degrees Pisces, and now the sun is already at 5 degrees Pisces. As I told you that the approximate average daily travel for asteroids is about 1/4 of a degree or 20 minutes of an arc, but they could be much faster. And actually it occurs every time they are close to the sun. And at the moment, Panacea is conjunct the sun, so they almost move together. It's quite fascinating. And Panacea is still universal healing. And then Gong Gong is the one of the important TNOs. By the way, I keep forgetting, but then I keep reminding myself that I need to let you know that I'm color coding the transcendental objects. Magenta is for asteroids, and asteroids are orbiting between Mars and Jupiter, kind of linking the last personal planet, Mars, to the first destiny planet, Jupiter. And they describe your personal karmic past and knowledge and traits and so on. And then the TNOs, which are trans-Neptunian objects, out of which you have many labels. The ones in the inner Kuiper belt are called called centaurs, and the outer Kuiper belt ones are called TNOs or ETNOs or SDOs, all kinds of labels. In karmic astrology, just to use a much easier term, we call them all centaurs, just like we call planets or personal planets, also the sun and the moon, which are the luminaries. But we in karmic astrology make this the same leap and the same generalization. So anyhow, so the blue ones are the TNOs, or trans-Neptunians or centaurs, and they describe our karmic wounds, and also the potential, whether they are turned into potential traits or unique potentials, or they are actually becoming phobias and fears and scares. And then the red ones are the fixed stars. The stars are not located in the solar system. They are located in the universe. They are much higher dimensional worlds, and you go there as a soul energy to learn things or to heal from really, really difficult lives on the earth plane. So this is it. Now, so this on the sun, you also have Gong Gong, and Gong Gong is, by the way, it's a Chinese archetype. It's a dragon who has whose forehead is made of iron, and as it is fighting, it makes a giant hole on the fabric of the cosmos. So it's breaking the cosmos apart, and that is one of the energies describing the Vela cataclysm. So it's interesting that on the 24th, which is the first anniversary of the Ukrainian war, you have the sun conjunct Gong Gong, indicating that the world is on the verge of a cataclysm. So we need to be really, really. I wish our world leaders weren't cretins and idiots and complete morons, but they are. And then the sun is also aligned with Deneb Adiger, Alpha Cygnus, and this is one of the shaman birds flying towards the North Celestial Pole, and Deneb Adiger is the Alpha star, a very bright, beautiful star, providing shaman energies, shaman healing. On Venus Vesta Astrea, you have Themis, the mother of the Hora's wisdom, Orpheus, the husband of Eurydice, who, when she dies, he is so totally sad with grief that he wants to go down to the underworld and rescue her. Of course, he doesn't succeed, but actually it's an underworld archetype, and it shows the ability to strive against all odds, to try to do something against all odds. And on the triple conjunction is also on Salacia, and Salacia, she is a Nereid, and she was spotted by Neptune on one day, and he falls in love with her and wants to marry her, but Salacia wants to keep her virginity, so she hides in the dark backwaters of the ocean, and Neptune needs a dolphin to locate her, and then they get married and they live happily ever after. But it describes a very interesting phenomenon that no matter what you rule, no matter what you own, you won't see the dark recesses of things. You need to soul search it. You need to promise things. You need to be nice and civil in order for them to show themselves. And on the North Node, Moon, you have Merlin, of course, the magician. So you can actually do magic on this day as well. And on the South Node, you have Narcissus and Rhodomanthus. Narcissus is the archetype of self-love. Don't look down on it, because if you don't learn to love yourself, how can you actually ask anyone to love you? Think about that. And Rhodomanthus, who in mythology is the son of Zeus and Europe, and he becomes the king of Crete after the Minotaur story, and he installs and creates very just and very good rules and laws, and after his death he becomes one of the judges of the underworld, and it gives us potential to create good rules, nice and just rules. And of course, since it is on the South Node, we need to go back to our roots. We need to understand what we knew already. It's so funny how Douglas Adams keeps saying, how is it that we forgot about things that we knew so well? And the last 10 years, this is the story of the last 10 years. They made us forget about things that we already knew and we held sacred. And that's what it suggests. And on Ceres, you have Selene, the moon goddess, the triple moon goddess, who incorporates all the three phases of the moon, the Virgin, the Mother, and the Cron. And Osiris, of course, another underworld figure. He's the lord of the Egyptian underworld. And again, you need to go down to the roots. You need to uncover what's hidden. That's Salacia as well. And then Raiphonus is the he is one of the sprites, nature sprites that Zeus occupies to be the guardian of Heracles' crib, so that Hera won't destroy him. And Riphonos takes the duty, the task so seriously that he turns himself into a centaur in order to do it much better than just a sprite. So this means a complete transformation for the sake of a sacred duty or some sort of duty that you adopt. And on the Black Moon, Lilith, you still have Varuna, which I link this particular celestial object. I always link to Queen Karma. I spoke about this many times, so I'm not going to elaborate it again. And Altarf, which is Beta's Cancer, which means in Arabic the stair, and it is linked to clairvoyance. So that's it for the 24th. Utilize it well. It's if you want to do any astrological magic, wait until the moon is actually on the North Node, no matter where you are, and that is when you can perform the ritual. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.